All right, so we have these drawings now. I printed them all out, and this is what I'm going to use to build all the sections of the framing walls. I want to start with the stuff on the second floor because I'm going to be stacking them all up. I'm going to be building them right over here in this area, and then I think I'm just going to try to stack them up. I'm not even sure, maybe off to the side here, or like I want to have the bottom framing sections like for here, not the ones up there, but we're going to start with these on top of the subfloor, so I want those at the top of the stack. So I'm going to start framing the top portion first. I'm not doing the roof yet, I'm just doing the walls right now. Yeah, so here we go. All this stuff that's like around 4 feet high is the top section. So this one looks like a good one to start with right here. We'll start with front 4. These namings correspond to what I've named the layers that they're on in SketchUp. I'm going to take this drawing, make a cut list from it, and then I'm going to cut everything for this wall over at the chop saw. I'm going to just then refer to this drawing to actually construct it with all the pieces I've cut. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We need 10 4 foot 1 1/4. We need 5 1 foot 3s. We need 2 1 foot 6s. Okay, and I think that takes care of all the 2x4s. Okay, ready to start cutting. So the thing I got the most of are 2x4x12s. I'm going to start cutting my pieces out of these, except for the 12 foot 8s, and I'm going to use the 2x4x16s for those. All right, so I'm going to start bringing that stuff over now.
I'm here to make your life easier, Dan, okay?
Thank you.
Right on the saw.
I appreciate that.
Watch out.
Look at that,
Spider.
right on the, what is that, Tina?
Spidey.
No, I'm
Spider?
saying you put it right on the stop.
On the stop, okay.
Yeah, it's perfect. Now it's ready to cut.
Cool.
It's already to the perfect measurement.
I did it.
If I had another set of these things on this stand, then I could set a stop like over here. The problem is with the small pieces, the stop is too far away. So to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to mark 1 foot 3, which is 15 inches. I'm going to mark 30 1/8. And then I'm going to mark 1 foot 15, so 45 1/4. And what that's going to do, it's going to allow me to make 3 marks on here, accounting for the 1/8 inch kerf that the saw blade takes up. I cut on this side of the line each time because that's how I made my measurements. If I were to turn this thing around, it'd be all messed up. Putting together my double header for my first window box, and I'm using 1/2 inch pieces of CDX to block this out, to add some blocking in between them, because this is going inside of a 2x4 frame wall, so the width of this needs to be 3.5 inches. So 1.5 inches makes 3, plus the 1/2 inch CDX in the middle makes 3.5. Now with this blocking, this is going to fit in real nicely. Okay, so we're about to start building this wall here. We have our different pieces cut for this wall, and we have our 12/8 out there. I'm going to take this drawing out to where we're building, and then I'm going to start laying the pieces out. you can't see them right now, but there's 16 Ds going in from the sole plate and the top plates down into the studs. We got 10 Ds going in through this the sill plate, this first one, down into the studs below it. We got 10 Ds, 8 inches on center, staggered across, attaching the top sill plate to the bottom sill plate. We got 10 Ds coming in from the ends, attaching to the sill plates. And then we got our header, our lintel, with 10 Ds securing that. We're not toenailing into this top header lintel, we're just hitting it in from the outside there. And then we're also attaching the king stud with 10 Ds, 16 inches on center, staggered. I gotta remember all that and apply that.
I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Switching back quickly to 16 Ds so we can secure all of our studs, our vertical studs, to the sole plate and to the top plate. Now I'm gonna toenail some 10 Ds. These are 3-inch nails into these framing members. I'm just going to use this form stake just to hold that thing from deflecting. Little tight here, but doing my best. Alright, so we have to get this piece of wall framing into square, and because right now I just framed it up with just measurements and it's definitely not in square. So to do that, I'm going to use some 30-inch form stakes. I'm going to drive them into the corners the best I can. We've got tons of rocks here, so it's really, really difficult. So I'm just going to start right here.
For those who...
So now I should be able to flex it this way or that. Yeah, it's working out pretty good. So now I need to get a screw in each of these corners, because I'm going to be pulling square off it. Center of the corner, and just put it in the same place on both sides. All right, so you see how the tape measure has this little like notch there? You can just slide that right into the screw head, and then it locks on. Now I'm going to pull diagonals over here, okay? And basically this is the same situation. It doesn't exactly matter what point you do it from, but it just has to be the same on both sides. So I'm going to go for this inside corner, and I'm doing the inside of the tape. If this is the outside of the tape facing to the outside of the framing, this is the inside of the tape. So the point that you measure to, and the side of the tape has to be the same on both sides. And this is currently showing 139 and 3/8. The other way is showing 139 and 5/8, so we want to gain 1/8 of an inch here. We got that thing secured down there on those stakes, and I'm just gonna, here, can you come over here? Just nudge this a little bit. Okay, you gotta push towards me. A little more. Okay, hold on. Okay, it's hard to see on this camera, but that actually is 139.5 now. Okay, so can you switch it on the other side? Gosh, on the camera it's really hard to say. It's about a 1/16 over 139.5. So we are square now. We're ready to put a brace on. It's hailing! So I'm using this ducting strapping because if I use a piece of wood as a brace, that's fine, and I can remove it later after the wall's up. But what I kind of like about this, the possibility of this working, is that you can just leave it on when you reconstruct the walls, and it will just make everything more rigid, and it's just kind of like this permanent thing we can just leave here. So I really like that part about it. You just got to make sure you put it on the outside the outside of your wall, which this is the exterior facing part of the wall. It's a little trick that I learned from Life Inside a Box, that guy, when he was building his tiny house. It's the second screw. I'm screwing at an angle to make this really, really tight. Okay, so this method did not really work out. If you can see this, it actually pulled part of the framing over, so it actually curved that sole plate. That is not good. What we really need to do, I think we're just gonna nix this stuff, and I need to get some like 1x3s in order to brace this thing. I don't have those, so for right now I'll use like a big 2x4, and I'm just gonna literally go across the entire thing at a diagonal to hold it in square, and then after the wall goes up, we'll just peel that right off. So wrapping up day one on the tiny house build, we have 2 sections of wall completed on the framing and squared up. It's sections framing wall front 3 and framing wall front 4, and gonna get started on this first thing in the morning. And I'm hoping if I can eke out a few days this week, but I'm only gonna have 3 days because Justine and I are getting married on Saturday, so that's an exciting thing. And we're gonna get as much done as we can on this thing in the next few days, and I'm hoping to finish all the framing inside a couple weeks, so fingers crossed, we'll see.